Hi, my name is Mason Mitchell. This is my project on four seasons of space. I have currently a little over 85 hours in this project. My driving question is. I swear to God.
It's gonna be another one in 4 minutes.
Yeah.
So.
You're just gonna have to push through.
All
right.
Or wait 4 minutes. I don't know.
You want to wait 4 minutes?
What do you want to do?
I think we should just go.
For
One more time with feeling. I like it. I'm proud of you.
Hi, my name is Mason Mitchell. This is my project on four seasons in space. I have a little over 85 hours in this project. My driving question is, how do our solar systems affect our four seasons? My sustainability question is, how does climate change play in a role of our solar systems? My first question is, why don't some areas of our planet experience all four seasons? Seasons aren't the same everywhere. What would you define winter as? If you live in the North Pole, winter could be a freezing time when the sun doesn't shine often. But if you live in San Diego, winter is a time that's cold and short days are shorter. But if you live in an Amazon rainforest, you wouldn't be able to answer that question. We use four seasons to divide our year into sections, but not every location on our Earth experiences all four. Once every day, the Earth spins on its axis. Our Earth also doesn't perfectly upright when it spins on its axis. From collisions happening, the Earth is at a 23.5 degree tilt. This means when the Earth rotates around the sun, different areas of the planet experience different amounts of sunlight. The tilt of our planet affects us because without it we would have straight 12-hour days and nights. Summer and winter. Australia has summer at the end of the year, and the southern hemisphere is tilted at the sun. During the summer days become longer because more hours are facing the sun. This causes our days to become hotter as more rays from the sun are facing us. The summer solstice is around December 22nd in Australia, and that's when we experience the longest day of the year. The sun is as far south in the sky as it can be passing over the Tropic of Cancer. Illustration of Earth's seasons. The seasons are Earth's functions of Earth's tilt. As Christmas plans are happening, the northern hemisphere is dilated away from the sun. This is why our winters have fewer daylight hours in them. With this being said, the sun is able to cover more surface area at a dilated angle. Then we experience winter solstice, our longest winter day, marking winter's ending. 6 months later, the Earth is halfway around its orbit around the sun. My second question is, how does the rotation in our solar system affect all four seasons? Most of Earth's population has noticed longer days and shorter nights in summer's months and opposite during winter months. The big reason for this is because the Earth's axis is straight up and down, and it's tilted at 23.5 degrees. The Earth orbits the sun every day of the year, and sometimes the northern hemisphere is closer to the sun, while sometimes it's farther away. Summer, longer days and shorter nights. To further explain why days are longer in summer and shorter in the winter, we dig deeper into the Earth rotating. Our Earth spins around its axis, which to us can be an imaginary line running from the North to South Pole. When Earth makes its rotation around the sun during parts of the year, some parts of our planet don't experience daylight or night. If our Earth was straight up to a 90 degree axis, this would mean the length of the time facing the sun and away from the sun would be the exact same. Our Earth is tilted again at 23.5 degrees, and this means we are always pointed in the same direction towards Polaris, or known as the North Star. Every location in our planet is uniquely different in time of sunlight each location receives. For example, Wisconsin receives more sunlight during winter rather than Alaska. Latitude measurement. Latitude is measurement of a location on our planet and in relation to its distance from the equator. Latitudes closer to the poles will have a degree of 0 being the latitude is the equator. The higher latitudes near the poles are curving away from the sun, meaning they receive less sunlight. This is why the poles stay colder during the rest of our planet. Since our Earth is tilted a degree, the poles receive less sunlight, and during winter the sun never goes above the horizon, and some locations are dark throughout winter, like Alaska. Equinoxes and solstices. Between the Earth's tilts and rotations, we have one day of the year where the North Pole ends up tilted close to the sun while the South Pole tilts away from the sun. This is known as the summer solstice, the longest day, and the winter solstice, the shortest day. Halfway between the solstices, we have what's called an equinox. This is when the Earth's orbit switches and its tilt switches towards the sun or away from the sun. During the spring hemisphere equinox, the tilt goes away from the sun. And then in the fall, the opposite happens. The solstices are the equinox dates vary due to small differences in our Earth's orbit. My third question is, how do the sun and moon play into our 4 seasons changing around our planet? So have you ever wondered of weather being referred to as seasonable or unseasonable? This is because as a society we decided to put specific weather patterns for each season. The sun is essential to weather and our seasons. The sun is a huge energy source to our planet, as it plays into heating our planet, and depends on the Earth's motion to determine how much energy we receive from the sun. Understanding the motion is a big step to learning why our 4 seasons exist and bring changes to our weather. How Earth moves around the sun. Our planet orbits the sun in an oval-shaped path. As most know, it takes about 365 days to make a full orbit around the sun. If it wasn't for our Earth's orbit, the same side of our planet would directly face the sun, and the temperatures would stay the same all year round, whether it be cold or hot, depending on what side it would be. The distance and tilt of our Earth from the sun is a huge reason why we have our 4 seasons. My fourth question is, what are the larger impacts beyond our solar system that affect our 4 seasons? It's mainly all in the tilt. To get seasons, a plant needs to have a tilted axis. As Dr. Sylvia says, and all 4 seasons have some tilted axis to them, which further means all of our planets have their own form of seasons. The bigger tilt the planet's axis, the more extreme the seasons end up. A good example is Mars having a 25.19 degree tilt compared to Earth, whereas is the 23.5, making one of the coldest recorded temperatures on Mars being negative 153 Celsius, whereas Earth's is negative 89.2 Celsius. This is cold enough for carbon dioxide to condense, forming clouds and snow around its poles, says Dr. Sylvia. However, unlike Earth, snow doesn't set on Mars' surfaces, but stays in the atmosphere, roughly 4 kilometers above. However, there is ice at the poles, and the polar ice caps melt in the spring and come back in the winter. Like Earth, Mars also has a circular oval-shaped orbit, which makes it colder within the further points of its orbit. Spring is Mars' longest season, being at 7 months long, and winter being at 4 months long. Storm seasons and centuries. Looking at Jupiter, you may think it looks like a big marl pattern, but it's because it's a giant cloud of hurricanes. There is also no ground surface that's been discovered, and it's the largest gas giant in our solar system. The temperatures are very drastic on Jupiter, being it can be 24,000 near the core, and it can be negative 143 Celsius towards the exosphere. Like it's even better though. All the red on Jupiter's surface is a storm, which is actually 3 times the size of Earth. Now scientists have discovered it's south of the equator, where the pressure and temperature is higher. And NASA has a probe that is trying to figure out how deep it is in Jupiter. The storm is burning hot, and despite it reaching the stratosphere and the season for its heat, and we don't know why the color is red. There are my sources. And thanks for watching. Any questions?
Do you think climate change will affect the lengths of our seasons?
I haven't fully looked into a whole lot of that, just the outskirts of it, so I truly don't know the answer to that. Declan?
Why did you choose this project topic?
Well, I've always had like a deep connection into space, but I've never known where to start digging until I just randomly one day was thinking I need a science project, and then the idea just came to my head to look into our 4 seasons and how space plays into it. Declan?
So if you think if Earth had a different axis or tilt, do you think that we would have different seasons?
100%. Abigail?
You know why there's 24 hours in a day?
No clue. Eden?
If the planet was on a full, just straight 90-degree tilt, would the poles get any sunlight?
Well, like I said, one side it could be completely dark, and the other side would be completely sunlight. So, there we go.
I'm sorry, one more question. Do you think the moon has seasons?
Haven't really looked into it, but I'm
Alright.
sure it does.
Okay.
Yes.
What was your favorite part of the project?
Learning that the Jupiter part, where the hurricanes